The European road trip is in full swing in the GB3 Championship, and we've arrived at the Hungaroring for the third consecutive season. The iconic, tricky-to-navigate Hungarian circuit has provided a fair amount of challenge so far this weekend through the sessions on Saturday. Following yesterday's race in ideal conditions, let's remind ourselves of what happened in the first race of the weekend. Highlights from round 7 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. It was once again a fantastic start from Deegan Fairclough from the front row of the grid. He was able to get past hometown hero Martin Molnar on the run into the opening corner. Nikita Bedrin was looking through the middle to try and find his way past. A bit of a front lock-up from Molnar would leave him out a little bit wide. He would still be able to hang on to second position. Deegan Fairclough, though, holding firm at the front, with Bedrin putting the pressure on. The best start, though, came from Max Rem, who went from 9th position all the way up to 4th. Some battles further down saw Peter Balzanellis going straight around the outside of Rowan Campbell-Pilling with an excellent move at the opening corner, showing it can be done. Unfortunately for Abby Pulling, into the rear end of Rowan Campbell-Pilling would retire her from the race. It would cause a safety car closing up the field, but it was a perfect restart from Deegan Fairclough. For Nikita Bedrin, though, it was an even better one. Straight down the inside of Martin Molnar at the opening corner would open the door for Max Rem to also come through on his teammate, allowing them to start checking away the distance. Drivers struggling with track limits, especially through the exit of turn 11. For Deegan Fairclough, though, he wasn't struggling at all. It was a perfect drive, an excellent win.
Deegan, your first win since Monza last year, but more importantly, given your speed this weekend, that feels like that's been coming.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend has been really strong, and just got to say a massive thank you to the boys at High Tech. They've been pushing so hard and working so hard, and especially in this heat, yeah, it was good. Finally, we're on that top step. It's been a long time, and that's good points in the championship, and we've got to come back to bring them now.
Yeah, pretty good race. I mean, we started P3. There was not much to do on the first lap because they were side by side. You cannot really go free wide unless you want to crash early, but I think I managed it pretty well. Had a good restart, got him there. I feel like I had more pace than him before that, but just not easy to keep up in the last sector on this track. I think we've maximized what we could, and I'm pretty happy with good points.
Yeah, I think it was quite a good race. We had a good start. We were 4th after the start, and then it was for me all about like keeping the tire in the window. I could feel the front going to the end, and then the safety car came out, so I think that cooled down the tires a little bit. And then Nikita done Molnar into T1, and I took the opportunity and came in with him, and then it was just about finishing the race, not doing any mistakes. And yeah, I think the pace was a lot better than in qualifying. Sort of surprising. I didn't expect a podium in this race, but I take it anyways, and I think tomorrow we can maybe have a chance for a win, but let's see what happens.
3 drivers on the podium, all of them happy, which is always a good sign. Deegan Fairclough, the happiest of them all after taking a very important victory. He's had 3 retirements this season, so it has been a bit of a tricky start, but it does move him up to 6th in the championship. Nikita Bedrin, though, with 2nd place, still looking extremely strong. 32 points clear of Max Rem. Martin Molnar in 3rd position behind, with Lucas Flusher and Jin Nakamura, who is absent this weekend, replaced by Jacob Mikolev. And then, of course, Rowan Campbell-Pilling, Patricio Gonzalez, Abby Pulling and Q-Ho Lee. Disappointing retirement, of course, for Abby Pulling yesterday. And whilst we were able to catch up with our top 3, there are other drivers on the grid that we were able to catch up with. Jack Hodgetts was going around to chat to some of our other drivers in the paddock.
Rowan, a 7th place finish here in Hungaroring. How was that race for you?
Really, really tough. Obviously coming from F4 last year, big learning curve with the car, and then obviously new tracks as well. We didn't get to do a race run in free practice, so we just focused more on the performance side for qualifying, which we executed quite well in Q1. Q2 wasn't as great, but no, the race was tough, like I said, but no, we did the best we could, and the team put a great car out there for us.
And we're only in round 3 of the GB3 Championship so far. How are you feeling your progress is going?
I think we're on the way up. You know, the trajectory is looking strong. We're getting better and better every time we're out. You know, we're going to new tracks, learning new tracks, and developing while we're doing it. So there's a lot of learning going on, but hopefully we can keep that trajectory going.
We've been to some quite famous tracks so far. Have you got a favourite out there?
I think Silverstone. It's at home. It's great in the UK, and you know, you've got Spa, Hungaroring, which are two very, very cool Grand Prix circuits as well. But no, Silverstone's got to be the favourite so far.
And obviously another 2 races coming up tomorrow. What are you trying to get out of those 2?
I think just learn as much as possible. You know, that's what I'm here to do. Here to learn and develop as a driver. So yeah, just keep learning, keep developing, and hopefully the results will come.
Awesome. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Peter, we've just finished up race 1 here in Hungary. Your best result of the season so far. Talk me through that.
I think it was very good. You know, having to get a good qualify, starting P8. It was my best result so far. You know, a bit nervous at the start, but I ended up getting there, getting the nerves off. You know, off the top of my head and locking it, I should say. But yeah, it's been very good.
And talk me through your season so far and how you feel like you're progressing.
You know, after taking a year off, I think it's been a bit of a rough start, but I'm slowly getting back into things. You know, getting to feel the car a bit more, the tracks, and yeah, it's going well at the moment.
And nothing quite like a challenge by going into 3 F1 racetracks straight off the bat. Have you had a favourite so far?
I think either this one or Silverstone. Spa was very tricky. All tracks are very good. They're all my favourite, I can say.
And talk me through working with Hill Speed. How has that been going so far?
It's been going good. You know, I'm lucky to have my mechanics. They put my car back together when I put it in the wall back in chicane. But yeah, they're doing the whole team. It's very good. My engineers, my teammates, everything's good here. So.
And still 2 more races to come this weekend. What are you hoping to get out of those?
I'm hoping to just progress, finish inside the top 10, get some points. You know, make smart overtakes, smart defending, and see where we end up.
And it's obviously quite a short track here. How is that overtaking going out there?
It's a bit hard. The downforce on these cars, when you're behind a car, it's very tricky to stay behind them. So normally it's like a yo-yo, you catch them and then you fall off. So you just got to be lucky in a certain way and make the move happen while you got the chance.
Well, we look forward to seeing those overtakes tomorrow. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Lucas, we just finished up race 1 here in Hungary. Talk me through that one.
Yeah, the race was quite good. We started P4 after a good qualifying. Yeah, just struggled a bit with the tires. A lot of degradation around here, so yeah, just try to manage that a bit. Overtaking is also not that easy, quite hard. So yeah, I mean, we did what we could. Obviously we want more and we'll work harder for more tomorrow, but yeah, we do what we can.
And talk me through what it's like racing around here. Obviously quite a smaller track than normal and shorter in length. You say harder to overtake. How does that make it out there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the run into T1 for the start is quite longer than usual, I feel like. So the start is more important. First lap is very important also because you don't get many more overtaking opportunities. But yeah, racing at the track is quite cool. You have to manage a lot of the tires, manage, you know, where you are at all times, where you place the car, because it's very important to not get too close and then you damage the tires. Or so yeah, it's very nice because you have to think a lot and you have to know what you're doing at all times. And, yeah.
And obviously not the only F1 track we've been to so far this season. Do you have a favourite?
Silverstone. I quite like Silverstone, to be honest. It's just a fast track, long, has a bit of everything. So yeah, Silverstone.
Obviously heading to Austria next weekend. Spain beat Austria in the World Cup. Is that going to make it a little bit awkward for you out there?
Yeah, definitely. It's you know, the World Cup is going quite well for the moment. I think we're looking quite good. Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely nice. It's going to be nice to race there. Aside from the World Cup, it's a track I'm excited to race. We've done some preparation with the team, and yeah, let's see what we can do.
And obviously 2 more races here this weekend still to go. What are you hoping to get out of those?
We start P6 and 7 tomorrow, so yeah, just hoping to maximize what we can do. We have a lot of potential, so together with the team, just working on, you know, what steps we can make tomorrow to be able to get even closer. And yeah, just keep working on what we have. We have a good base, so yeah.
Well, good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good job to hear from the XL Motorsport drivers that both of them, their favourite track so far this season is Silverstone, because we'll be racing there. Obviously, we'll be returned from our European road trip after next week's Red Bull Ring. Pete Basnalis as well put on an unbelievable move yesterday. Those are all drivers that are relatively experienced with the championship, both Rowan Campbell-Pilling and Pete Basnalis, obviously having done the opening couple of rounds of the season. Lucas Flusha has done the previous season. Someone who's jumping into this season for the first time this round is Jacob Mikkeleffen. We were able to catch up with the high-tech driver before the weekend began.
Oh, Jacob, welcome to the GB3 Championship. How much are you looking forward to your first weekend in the series?
Well, I'm super excited. Like, I fell in love with the car. I'm working really great with the team. I really like the track, so it's I'm just really looking forward to the races and qualifying.
Tell us about your career so far. You've done plenty of go-karting, but in terms of actual car racing, you've only been racing, I think, for about 7 or 8 months. So this is all very quick so far.
Yeah, so I've done quite a lot of karting. I've done a couple of years, and then we transitioned to Formula 4 in the beginning of this year. I did one race last year, but yeah, I'm basically driving F4. And then we found an opportunity with some connections, and we managed to get a seat in GB3, and I was like, oh my god, this is like a dream come true.
It's all happened very quickly for you, hasn't it? You've only been racing, like, as you just said, for a few months in F4. So were you expecting to make the jump up to GB3 this quickly, or was this just too good an opportunity to turn down?
No, for sure I wasn't expecting, like, I was just thinking of like doing F4 just this year, but we found this opportunity and I was actually not expecting it, and I'm very, very grateful for it. So
I think you've had about a month's experience in the car so far, haven't you? You did the test at Snetterton and a couple of days here. Despite your inexperience, you've been in and around the top 6 pretty much all the time. Was that something you were expecting?
Yeah, I've done the test in Snetterton, and yeah, I did these free practice, and to be honest, yeah, the progress is really good. Like, I'm getting to grips with the car, with the team, with the track. I wasn't expecting like to be this close, you know, so I'm very happy.
So in terms of racing, it runs in the family. Your dad's a dragster racer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's basically what he does. He like drives in the straight with like a top fuel dragster, the highest class in drag racing, and he goes mega fast, like 300 miles we're talking in the straight. It's a bit different to me, but what he does is very nice. Basically, it comes in the blood, you know, the racing, because my father started, and now I'm continuing the legacy. So.
Was that something you ever considered giving a go, or you're more into the circuit racing side of things?
No, I'm more into the circuit. I like the corners, the technicality more. But to be honest, well, going 300 miles in a straight is quite astonishing, to be honest.
Just going back to this weekend finally as well, what sort of results are you hoping for when you get on track on Saturday and Sunday?
You know, I'm mainly the goal for this week is to, you know, learn and adapt with the car, with the team, and to understand, you know, as much as possible. I'm hoping to be maybe around mid-pack in terms of results. I think it's quite realistic for me.
Well, I hope you have a really enjoyable first weekend in GB3. We look forward to seeing how you get on.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was Jacob Micallef before the weekend began. He said he was aiming for somewhere in the middle of the table, and that's pretty much what he got. He finished in 9th position yesterday, and he'll be starting this one from 10th, really getting used to racing in open wheelers for the first time in his career. As Richard Randall there, after catching up with him, was saying, basically done an awful lot of karting, and so this is quite a big step. Has obviously raced in Spanish F4 and out in Saudi Arabia a little bit towards the end of last year as well, but really getting up to speed with it. Some of the drivers, obviously, that are jumping in for this round. They've never raced around the Hungaroring circuit. Ahead of the race weekend, Richard Randall also was able to catch up with British racing driver Lewis Gilbert to hear what he's been up to since Spa and what his ambitions are here in Hungary after a double top 10 a few weeks ago.
Lewis, I would say, how have you enjoyed the break since Spa, but it looks like you've been really busy.
Yeah, what we're trying to keep myself busy in between the races. So yeah, we've just came back from 2 weekends of racing and karting again. So we've 2 weeks away, 2 days home, and then straight out here. So yeah, it's been actually a pretty busy break. So no, good to be here.
Looks like it was quite productive as well. It sounds like you're winning some races in the karting.
Yeah, we had a couple wins here and there, some good races on the Sunday. So no, pretty good results. Always good to keep my foot in the door, and still love it. So yeah, there's nothing more physical than a warm kart race.
Yeah, probably good preparation for this weekend as well. You've come into the Hungaroring off the back of 2 top 10 results at Spa. Your first top 10s as well. Is that what you were expecting, or has it come a bit quicker than you were thinking?
I mean, of course, you want the best results you can as quick as you can, but I didn't expect to be that good in Spa, but things just turned out to be actually pretty good. The car was in sync, the team was in sync, and I just adapted to the track really well, so the results were great and the pace was even better, so hopefully we can carry that into this weekend.
Obviously, Spa's a proper driver's circuit. For you to be in the top 10 in your first ever season of car racing coming straight out of karting, it's a very promising sign, that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I've been told. It's very much a driver's track, and so is here as well. So last session we were pretty good. We were P8, so hopefully we're continuing the same momentum from the last time, and hopefully for the same results, if not a bit better.
I was going to say, looking at the testing and practice results so far, you've been in around the top 10 yet again, so you must be quite hopeful of another strong weekend.
Yeah, that's that. I think this weekend's going to be more important about qualifying than it was at Spa. We managed to race quite well at Spa and get ourselves forward, but yeah, quality's going to need to be important here tomorrow especially, so we'll make a few changes for the last run and we'll see what happens.
This is a proper old school F1 circuit, been on the calendar for a very long time, must be an absolute privilege to drive around here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how lucky can we be. Silverstone round 1, Spa round 2, Hungaroring round 3. It's, yeah, you couldn't have asked for 3 better tracks for the first 3 rounds, and driving round here is certainly a roller coaster.
Well, wish you a great weekend this weekend. Let's see how you get on.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Some of our drivers then very much looking forward to racing around here again, as they have been through the weekend, racing at Silverstone, racing at Spa, racing here in Hungary, and of course in a week's time at the Red Bull Ring. Focusing very much on here as the cars are rolling their way out into the fast lane before they'll begin a formation lap. It's probably about time for us to take a quick look around this circuit and then an onboard lap with Martin Molnar, the hometown hero. The GB3 Championship returns to the Hungaroring for the 3rd time in the series' history. The iconic host of the Hungarian Grand Prix runs down into that opening corner at turn 1. Such a tricky braking zone as we start to drop down the hill. Through turn 2, the long left-hander, and then a flick right as we then begin to climb back up towards turn 4. Iconic and very tricky to navigate before we turn right the way through turns 5. 6 and 7 flicks us right and left before we head into this S's section at 8, 9, 10 and 11. The short shoot down towards turn 12 with the downhill braking zone before we climb back up through the double hairpin sequence at 13 and 14. Between the two of those is where the DRS detection point is that activates for both the DRS zones along the start-finish straight and that run down the hill towards turn 2. Just the single detection point staying within a second of the car ahead gives you DRS for both of the zones around the Hungaroring. That is a look at the 14 turns of the Hungaroring circuit. Let's take a look around the Hungaroring circuit on board with hometown hero Martin Molnar for the Rodin team. Into the braking zone at turn 1, slightly drops downhill into a tricky braking zone where you want to find a later apex. In a bit too deep there for Molnar, that's absolutely fine. Gets on the power nice and early before dropping down the hill. 1A, the slight kink between 1 and 2 before this tricky left-hander constantly goes to the left. You need to keep it over that left-hand side before we get into turn 3. A fast flick to the right before we rise back up towards turn 4. Infamous and tricky, especially when it comes to track limits on the outside. Blind as you crest over the hill, then through the left-hander all the way over to that right-hand side. Pull it back over to the left before we get into the basically double apex turn at turn 5. Finding that later apex and then continuing to rise up the hill. We crest over the top and then go through the chicane at 6 and 7. Before this S's section, it goes first to the left and then back to the right, the first part of it being quite tricky before we can pin that throttle down, going towards turn 10 and 11. 11 being the site of quite a lot of track limit excursions through qualifying. We're expecting the same for the race. So easy to run wide at this corner. Just 3 turns left to go, the first of which is the 90-degree right-hander at turn 12 before the rise back up the hill into the double hairpin sequence. Turn 13, the penultimate corner, wanted to hold it very tight, not using the curb though on the left-hand side. We've got pit entrance on the right-hand side. We pull the car back over to the left before dropping it into that final corner. One downshift to bring us back onto the apex, and that is a look around the 4.3 kilometre circuit here at the Hungaroring. An excellent lap there with Martin Molnar, our pole sitter, of course, yesterday. Not today, though. We'll have to do a little bit more work if he's going to be in search of his first GB3 victory. The cars are about ready to go, and when they head out, we'll be racing once again. Race 2 of the weekend. It'll be Nikita Bedrin from Deegan Fairclough, from Molnar, and from Pulling. So, for the second time this weekend, we are definitely ready. I'm ready in the comments booth. The drivers are ready down there as well. So let's get ourselves ready and let's go racing. The GB3 Championship heads to the Hungaroring for round 8 of the season. We had an excellent race yesterday, dominated by Deegan Fairclough. After starting from the front row of the grid, he was able to take away the race lead and was able to take victory. It's a difficult circuit to overtake at, which is why the race start is so important. That run down into the opening corner, that initial run, is so critical after qualifying well. Before that, it is tight, it is twisty, downhill into turns 2 and 3 before rising back up into the fast left-hander at turn 4, flicking through the right-hander at 5 before it all tightens up through 6 and 7, and then the S's section at 8, 9, 10 and 11. Turn 11 has been the sighting of many track limit excursions so far this weekend. 12 at the bottom of the hill before we rise up through the double hairpin sequence at 13 and 14. There are 2 DRS zones around the circuit, one on the start-finish straight and one on the run down in towards turn 2, but just that single DRS detection point that activates for both of the zones, and that detection point is between the penultimate and final corner. It is a tricky track, but an absolutely brilliant one that the drivers have certainly loved so far, definitely in the qualifying sessions that we had yesterday, and of course that opening race that Deegan Fairclough enjoyed so much. They are on the sighting lap now. They'll head their way onto the grid before beginning the formation lap, so we'll see the grid once we've finished that and begun the formation lap. But I can tell you that Nikita Bedrin there in the number 20 will be the driver starting from pole position. And after not taking victory yesterday, he's won 3 races this season. He was pretty happy after the race. Still, relatively obviously disappointed he didn't win. He's a driver that wants to win all of the time, as all of the drivers do. But to have taken second, he understands the importance of scoring points at this point in the championship. He was able to outscore his champ rivals in Max Rem that were behind, in Lucas Fluch and Deegan Fairclough, who's starting to score some points, in Abby Pulling as well, who unfortunately retired from yesterday's race. I know that there will be a lot of Hungarians tuning into this. Martin Molnar did start from pole position yesterday. Unfortunately, wasn't quite able to take the victory. Ended up dropping down the order somewhat. Today, he'll be starting from 3rd position in that iconic car that's literally in the middle of your screen right now, the black and the light blue on his Rodin Motorsports car. He's got his teammates directly behind him in Abby Pulling and Max Rem. Got to give a shout to Max Rem as well. Yesterday was unbelievable. Started from 9th position, managed to work his way up to 3rd after making a move after Nikita Bedrin tried to force his way through on Martin Molnar. Was able to steal away the podium spot from his teammate on the safety car restart after Abby Pulling's unfortunate incident. You can see the crews of each of the teams getting off of the grid, and we're about ready to begin the formation up and about ready for the second race of the weekend and round 8 of the 2026 GB3 Championship, which Nikita Bedrin is in full control of. At present, he leads the championship by 32 points. And as much as after this race we've completed 1/3 of the championship, there'll be 16 races left to go this season, with a whole host of circuits, including 2 new ones when we go racing at the Red Bull Ring in a week's time and Barcelona at the end of the season. Still, you've got to capitalise on these opportunities, and for Max Rem, it'll be keenly in his mind that anything short of a podium is not good enough, which for a driver who's only taken part in a few races so far in his career, obviously joining us at Monza at the end of last season, he's up to 9 completed races, 5 of which have been on the podium. The formation lap begins then, and we'll see Nikita Bedrin pulling his way off of the grid. And you can see they're all instantly warming up. They were warming up their tyres a lot on the reconnaissance lap over to the grid. They've been warming them a lot on the start here of the formation lap. It is a little bit cooler here this morning, about 20 degrees ambient temperature. I think it's about 15 to 20 degrees lower on the track temperature side than yesterday's race. Getting heat into these Pirellis is absolutely critical for our drivers. Here's a look at the starting grid then for the second race of the weekend. Nikita Bedrin eyeing up his 4th victory of the season. Deegan Fairclough, fresh after a victory yesterday from 2nd position. He'll be trying to do the same thing again. Martin Molnar will start from 3rd position, the hometown hero. Ended up finishing in 4th position from pole yesterday. Abby Pulling, retired from yesterday's race, will start from 4th. Max Rem got from 9th up onto the podium, will start from 5th alongside Lucas Fluch, who found himself in the top 5. Juho Lee was in 6th position yesterday, alongside Peter Balzanellis is where he'll start, who had probably move of the day yesterday. Rowan Campbell-Pilling looking for yet more top 10s, had 3 back in Silverstone and 1 yesterday. He'll be starting from 9th position alongside the debutant in Jacob Micallef. Dante Vinci and Flynn Jacks will start from 12th position, and behind all of that in row number 7 it's Aurelien Abels and Ricardo Baptista. It's all Gonzalez on row number 8 as Rodrigo will start alongside Patricio. Unfortunately, it was a retirement for Rodrigo yesterday, a top 10 for Patricio. Just 3 more cars to deal with. Lewis Gilbert, who we were able to catch up with before the weekend, unfortunately retired, and Juho Fu with Leon Wilson, the 19th and final position on the grid. So for the drivers now, as we said, it's about getting heat into the tyres, getting your mind into the right place and focusing on that race start. It was absolutely critical yesterday for Deegan Fairclough, who pieced himself together so brilliantly on that race start, got the conversion perfect. And as much as Martin Molnar, he got a brilliant start, it just wasn't good enough compared to Deegan Fairclough. Bit of a lock-up as well into the opening corner. Definitely something to be avoided today. We might well see some pretty sizable lock-ups into that opening turn, as brakes, of course, will be a little bit cold. And with the circuit as well. Tricky braking zone for the opening turn. You kind of come over the crest of a hill at about the 150 metre board, and as you drop down you want to slam on the brakes at about 100, maybe slightly before, and roll your way into the corner. And as you kind of come over that crest, it can lighten up the front of the car, which has been troublesome for a couple of drivers so far this weekend. There were some issues in qualifying. There definitely were a couple of issues in the race. I'm pretty sure Flynn Jacks had a double front lockup going into that part of the circuit yesterday. Thankfully it didn't cause him too many problems through the race, at least after that point, but he did get involved in a couple of incidents that dropped him down to 14th after that. Rodin are ready, the drivers are ready, Nikita Bedrin is ready, and we are as well. 25 minutes onto the clock as we get ready to go racing here for the second time at the Hungaroring this season. Once again, it's an excellent start from Deegan Fairclough from the front row of the grid. He's able to get alongside Nikita Bedrin on the run to the opening corner, left-hand side of your screen. That is Deegan Fairclough with the perfect launch once again. And a big lock up there for Nikita Bedrin. To the outside he's going to go, and he's not able to hang on to the race lead. Perfect stuff then from Deegan Fairclough. There is a crash in the background. We will see one of the hill speeds along with the high-tech, I believe, that is Jacob Micallef and maybe Peter Balzanellis that has spun round at the opening corner. They are stationary. Will they be able to get themselves back going? That is the question. Safety car, I believe, might well have been deployed immediately. Certainly has. The safety car immediately out then to rescue that incident at the opening corner. It was indeed. Rowan Campbell-Pilling was also involved in all of that. Jacob Micallef, Rowan Campbell-Pilling and Peter Balzanellis all involved in that. I was watching more what was happening towards the front, but clearly a bit of an incident and a bit of a stack up there in the mid-pack, causing the spin for Balzanellis. Jacob Micallef basically losing his front wing in all of that, and of course getting involved was Rowan Campbell-Pilling. Is there a bit of... No, I was going to say there might be a bit of front wing damage on one of the Ardens in the background, but I think they've both got through it all right. But for Deegan Fairclough, second race in a row, he has got the start down to an absolute T here. The fact that he got the launch yesterday from the inside row of the grid to take over the race lead. He's done it 2 days in a row. Bit of a lock-up for Nikita Bedrin. I don't think there'll be any major worries for him. Obviously, it was the front right, which doesn't do quite as much work around here as the front left, so it won't be too bad. I'm sure the VRD racing team would probably have asked the question. Why is Deegan Fairclough going slow, though? Deegan Fairclough there on the right-hand side of your screen was pulling off to one side, and as much as we were saying about the perfect start for him, you can see the disappointment in the car. Deegan Fairclough, for the 4th time this season, has retired. What has happened to Deegan Fairclough and his high-tech car? He cannot catch a break. Probably one of the unluckiest drivers at the moment in the GB3 Championship. It's the second time I think he's retired from the race lead. Big shame for the high-tech team, who will be scratching their heads thinking about what they can do to save that one. It does promote... There is Deegan Fairclough getting out of the car. It does promote Martin Molnar and Max Rem up the order. Lucas Fluscher did manage to get himself up into 4th. Abby Pulling's dropped down a position into 5th. Jacob Micallef has got his way back into pit lane as Deegan Fairclough walks away from the car. It was such a good victory that might have reignited things for Fairclough. And you can kind of see that on the race start, that maybe it was reigniting things. but it's hard to hold your head up high when another retirement falls your way. And as he walks away from his car, I mean, penny for the thoughts of what's going on inside his head right now. He's a strong driver, he's a quick driver, but these things are very testing for mentality. Refocusing then on what we actually have ahead of you. Nikita Bedrin is our race leader, and Martin Molnar second position, Max Rem in third. The questions will be when they can go back on the attack. The safety car obviously neutralising the field and meaning that everyone's got to work once again to get the heat back into the tyres. For the two Ardens at the back of the field, for Leon Wilson and Lewis Gilbert, they did make a fair amount of progress yesterday. Obviously the 4 retirements certainly helped that, and the 4 that we've had so far today is definitely helping it again. But for the pair of them, they've got a good opportunity to find their way through on those ahead. Patricio Gonzalez as well has worked his way up quite nicely up into 10th position from towards the rear end. So for Patricio and the VRD racing car, you've got to say there is some speed in that VRD racing camp. There is the marshal straight over to Deegan Fairclough's car. Obviously, we've not seen a replay to what happened at the opening corner with the Peter Bowson-Ellis, Rowan Campbell-Pilling and Jacob Mikulev incident. For Deegan Fairclough, it was a retirement of a reason that we are unsure of yet. They will wheel his car out of the way. I believe that car working its way through in the background, that is Mikulev, who will be able to rejoin the rear end of the train, starting from 10th position and now be rolling from 16th place. And obviously each time we take a lap off under safety car is another lap that Nikita Bedrin doesn't have to fend off Martin Molnar, doesn't have to fend off Maxime Rem and the contingent behind. Rodin look extremely strong in this championship, and they're showing it once again with their 3 cars inside the top 5. But as I've mentioned before, for Max Rem particularly, who is second in the championship, 32 points off the title lead, really needs to make that progress. There won't be any team orders from the Rodin squad. They won't be telling Martin Molnar to get out of the way. In fact, they'll probably be more telling Martin Molnar to get on with it and try and get himself past Nikita Bedrin himself. Safety car will be coming in this lap, confirmed at the top of the screen from race control. So we'll await those lights to go out, and we'll rejoin the race with 3 retirements, being Deegan Fairclough, Peter Bowson-Ellis and Rowan Campbell-Pilling. There's a look at some of the fans that have come out here. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of them are spotting the Hungarian Martin Molnar and seeing the support. Obviously, he does have quite a lot of home fans, even though it is his home track. It is about half an hour away from the circuit, does Martin Molnar. He's never raced around here until yesterday, and has only, I think he said he only done about 20 laps before we went into qualifying, or at least before we came into practice this weekend. So limited knowledge of the circuit, and unlike what we have sometimes in the UK, where a lot of drivers have a lot of deep knowledge of circuits like Silverstone, Brands Hatch and Donington, which we race, of course, in this championship. Here, the Hungaroring, even for the local lad, still not quite the biggest level of knowledge from him. But he'll be hungry for that victory. He'll be definitely sitting behind Nikita Bedrin, ready for it. When will Bedrin go? The VRD racing driver, the championship leader, sits at the front of the field. It's Martin Molnar and Maxime Rem behind. Lucas Flusha, Abby Pulling and Kyuho Lee, the top 6. Going into the penultimate corner is when the VRD racing driver slams that throttle pedal down, and we are back racing here at the Hungaroring with 18 minutes left to go. 7 complete through the final corner, and Nikita Bedrin from pole position back to being your race leader. And as it was yesterday, not a great restart from Martin Molnar. He's going to be a sitting duck potentially for his teammate Maxime Rem down into the opening corner. Let's see what it's going to be like on the race down into it. No moves coming in. There was a bit of a defensive look between the 2 hill speeds. Dante Vinci, the one without the yellow highlights, the red and black with the white stripes in it. That one is Dante Vinci. Aurelia Nobels with the yellow highlights on her hill speed will sit in 8th position. She's come through the drama quite nicely as well. The safety car, I am being shown. Obviously, we still have the safety car lights and boards out, yet it came into the pit lane. It's not 100% sure as to what happened there. I did think on the start-finish straight there were boards on and illuminated, but they were still racing around. So I wonder if they were unable to get the safety car boards in or something. Or there's something obviously out of sight that we're not fully aware of, that race control aren't fully satisfied with. But the race neutralised once again then, as we await them to head their way round and be picked up by the safety car for a second time. And Bedrin's probably, well, I mean, I'd say he's probably loving it, but he's loving the idea that you're sitting at the front and maybe scoring 35 points at the end of the race. But at the end of the day, these are all racing drivers. They won't enjoy the fact that we're under safety car for too much longer. Well, we saw the safety car board still on the start-finish straight, and that's why the safety car has been deployed again. Being told there might be a bit of a technical issue on the circuit. We can't quite get the boards turned off. So as much as the manual boards there are quite easy, just lift them up, pull them back over the Arco barrier. For the other side of things, the technical side, the LED boards still display safety car. So it will re-neutralise the race, and Nikita Bedrin. There was probably a fair amount of confusion for the drivers there going back out on the start-finish straight, as the race was very clearly being restarted, and then there were safety car boards everywhere. And there's probably that halfway thought in your mind being like, are these being turned off or not? And unfortunately, they were not. The safety car should be picked up round on the exit of T1 if it has rejoined us. If not, they'll be there. We go. There's the safety car just picking up Nikita Bedrin, Martin Molnar and Maxim Wren, who by default on that lap set the fastest lap, I think. And that very much is a by default. Couple of spots of moisture on the lens there. We kind of have seen a little bit of sprinkling around the circuit, not too much, just a little bit around the track. As you can see, the new front wing on Ryan Mikulev's car, it's rather than having the typical silver that we see on the high-tech cars, it's got none of that. It's just black and red. Still got the number 4 on it, so at least there is that. We'll try and bring the safety car in this time by, as Nikita Bedrin will have to do that restart again. For Martin Molnar, might be letting him off the hook a little bit there, because his restart wasn't great yesterday, and it wasn't great today. You can definitely see some of the raindrops coming down here, as we can see some of the fans that have put themselves on the top of the new pit lane that was built last year or so around the Hungaroring. Fantastic pit lane that we've got now here in Hungary. And obviously all the drivers are getting that moisture hitting their visors, and we hear it quite a lot, where as much as the circuit will probably be running at full capacity when it comes to its speed, if you get some of that those raindrops on your visor, mental rain is very much a thing, and it can slow you down mentally, even though the car can go faster. Nikita Bedrin will use all his experience to try and restart this race once more, confirm that it's definitely raining in pit lane. Nikita Bedrin will probably get that on the radio as well. So for the second time, we'll try and restart this race. Nikita Bedrin will lead from Molnar from Wren. Through the penultimate corner they go, and then up towards the final. Bedrin is leading. And how is his start compared to Molnar? It was excellent on the previous run, and it is excellent once again. He's already built a few car lengths, not quite as much as it was on the previous one, as we are back to green flag racing here. Martin Molnar is better on this run down into the opening corner, and so he definitely doesn't have to think about Max Wren behind. Lucas Fluscher also in tow is behind all that where the fighting's happening, including there with a big look to the inside as the VRD racing car of Patricio Gonzalez, it's Rodrigo Gonzalez, who's made the move on Ricardo Baptista. That was for 11th position. Ricardo Baptista dropping down into 12th. Rodrigo Gonzalez finding his way through. Nikita Bedrin at the front of the field, half a second clear on that restart from Martin Molnar, the Hungarian. Meanwhile, Rodrigo Gonzalez has a bit of a gap back up to the largest gap, in fact, on the field, up to Patricio Gonzalez's brother. Into the second sector we go, out through turn 4 and then through 5 as things get tight here through 6 and 7. This is where this new car for the GB3 Championship that we had introduced last season really kind of makes its mark, where it's, compared to the previous iteration of this car, it's so much easier to follow. Still not easy, don't get me wrong, you still get some dirty air, but it is a lot easier to follow than the previous generation and previous spec of the car. Dante Vinci was out a little bit wide there through turn 9, just sliding off the circuit a touch in his red, black and white highlighted hill speed car. You can see Aurelien Abels in the yellow highlighted one directly behind. And of course Flynn Jacks knocking at the door. 9th position at the moment with Patricio Gonzalez directly behind for VRD Racing. Could be some potential swaps back here towards the back end of the top 10, especially when DRS gets active, as much as there might be a little bit of sprinkling happening around the circuit. Not enough for race control to deter them from switching on the DRS button. Fastest lap comes in from Nikita Bedrin, our race leader. It was the fastest first sector, second and third. The closest at the top is Lucas Fluscher on the back of Max Rem. Everyone else single file, no big moves. A bit of a look there, as there is confirmation that DRS has been enabled. It'll actually be active on the next lap, because obviously the detection point is on this lap. A little bit further around on the exit of the penultimate corner. Looking a bit further back, there was Ricardo Baptista, I believe, with Yuhao Fu looking down the inside going into turn 2. Couldn't quite make that move. That was 12th spot for Ricardo Baptista. And couldn't, well, at least from Baptista's point of view, was able to hang on and still is able to keep the high-tech driver at bay, who started from towards the back of the field and has worked his way forward. Second the lead for the charcoal grey and red car of Nikita Bedrin that sits at the front of the field. 1 second, building that gap, building that margin, an important margin it will be. He's able to cross that third sector split and where the DRS detection point is without being in DRS zone of Martin Molnar. You'd almost say that Nikita Bedrin is set for a 4th victory of the season, because he might well be a little bit unbeatable from there, unless of course his tyres do fall off. I think in these conditions that feels a little bit unlikely. There's Abby pulling. You can tell by the very distinct pink helmet that she typically races in. Kyuho Lee in the bright yellow elite car is directly behind. The closest battle on the circuit at the moment is between Flynn Jacks and Rodrigo Gonzalez, the yellow highlighted VRD Racing car, which is 9th and 10th position. As they go down into the opening corner, we've completed 15 minutes of this race. There is the look, there's the defence coming in. The bright yellow of Flynn Jacks, the yellow highlighted white car of Patricio Gonzalez. Looks to the outside of the opening corner, goes for the switch back on the up and under, reopens DRS on the run down the hill. They go through 1A into turn 2. Going to be a brave move here from Patricio Gonzalez, straight around the outside. Excellent stuff there from the number 21 up to 9th position for Patricio Gonzalez. Rodrigo Gonzalez is also into the mix as well, and Flynn Jacks dropped to the back end of the top 10. Excellent move there into the second corner of the circuit. Really brave to do it around the outside, especially because into that corner it's slightly off camber, and the cars on the inside typically wash out towards the car that's on the outside of them. So you've got to be brave and fully committed, and that is exactly what Patricio Gonzalez was there. Next up for him, Aurelien Abels and Dante Vinci, the Hill Speed duo that sit in 7th and 8th position. There's Lucas Fluscher, who in turn was eyeing up a podium. Unfortunately, it seems as though the Rodin duo have pulled a fair margin out ahead. Fastest lap coming in at the moment from this driver here. Fastest first sector, fastest second sector. Max Rem is feeling comfortable. I said a podium earlier on in the race, earlier on in the broadcast. A podium was an absolute minimum for Maxim Rem, and at least he's found himself into that podium position, maybe through a little bit of good fortune after Deegan Fairclough's retirement. Was told, by the way, that Nikita Bedrin was able to get himself back through on Deegan Fairclough before Fairclough's retirement, so it wasn't actually from the race lead. As there comes a look to the inside, the two teammates fighting. Martin Molnar out wide, goes for the up and under hit. Great move from Max Rem, bold and brave. No DRS open for Martin Molnar. There is one though for Maxim Rem, as he obviously has the single DRS detection point that activates it for both zones. He completed the move and then affirmed it there with the run down into turn 2. Great move from the German, and Martin Molnar drops down into 3rd position. Here's a quick look back at that one. So brave and committed into the opening corner. So easy it is to lock up the front right there as you find your way towards the apex. Molnar skipping over a little bit of the dust that obviously was put down after Bowson Ellis and Campbell Pilling's instance with McAuliffe in the opening corner. Maybe just lost him a little bit of grip on the exit, and the Hungarian not able to come back at his teammate. In a little bit deep there was the number 19 of Kyuho Lee. And Max Rem, very slow there. I think he's gone wide there through turn 8, side by side to the S's section, and once again a switch between the two Rodins. Wow, goodness me. A little bit wide, a little bit of a mistake, and suddenly the opportunity comes in. I wonder if there's more to it, though, because he slowed down and has allowed Lucas Flusha to come through. Is there a puncture? Is there an issue for Maxim Rem's car? He's certainly going a bit slow, and Abby Pulling's now onto the scene. 7 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. Are we going to see Maxim Rem come into the pit lane? No, going to remain out on the circuit, but that car definitely is not healthy. Having lost the position to Martin Molnar and Lucas Flusha, there goes Abby Pulling. Seems as though he's not quite got drive off the corner somehow. For Martin Molnar and the local fans, it sees the Hungarian find himself back onto the podium. There is a car slowing down of Max Rem, and I think it's going to be a straight-up retirement, unfortunately, for the German driver. Pulls over to one side and unfortunately gets out of the way. Hopefully that'll be enough out of the way that he won't require a safety car. Saw the yellow flags come out and into turn 1 very briefly, but I think he's managed to pull the car completely out of the way. But a big shame in a retirement for second in the championship when Nikita Bedrin scoring 35 points. Wow, this is going to really open up the championship margin. Nikita Bedrin fully in control of the 2026 season with 1/3 of the championship about to be complete in 6 minutes and 20 seconds time. Lucas Flusha onto the podium, and he is flying. He has had a podium so far this season. He's had 2 podiums. Obviously one of them was a victory last season. He's had 2 podiums in his career, one of which came in the 3rd race at Silverstone. I don't recall him ever having a qualified race podium, because his victory was a reverse grid race, and obviously the podium earlier on in the season was a reverse grid race, and as much as he finished 4th in Silverstone 2 earlier on in the season. This is very much a turnaround for Lucas Flusha, who's been fantastic so far this season. Has only finished outside of the top 10 once so far in his 2026 campaign. That was in the very opening race of the season when he finished in 12th. His movement over to the XL team clearly showing its good fortune and its good pace. 2.7 seconds the race lead for Nikita Bedrin. It has been closed down a touch by Martin Molnar behind. Lucas Flusha sits there in 3rd. Abby Pulling in 4th. Kyuho Lee will be in 5th position, about a second clear of Dante Vinci, who's definitely still got DRS on the Korean driver. The closest fight really comes from behind Dante Vinci, where we've got Aurelien Abels and the like. There is Kyuho Lee working his way through the shot in the bright yellow, and immediately followed by Dante Vinci. And I said about Aurelien Abels already, the Gonzalez are going either side, and it is Patricio Gonzalez who's found his way through. Rodrigo is queuing up behind. Patricio with the yellow, Rodrigo with the red. Now queuing up behind number 12 of Aurelien Abels in the red, white and black Hillspeed car with the yellow highlights. And the 22 of Patricio Gonzalez is the next one queuing up. Both Gonzalez have started on the same row, back on row number 8 of the grid, 15th and 16th for the duo. And they've both worked their way through at pretty similar speed, and for Patricio Gonzalez, getting 6th position and past Dante Vinci, certainly not off the table. Aurelien Abels out a little bit wide there in the hill speed, going through turn 9, and now through 11 they go. Very close to a potential move here. If there is no DRS for Aurelien Abels onto the start-finish straight, which I get the feeling the gap between Abels and Gonzalez, you'd suspect there is going to be a move, or at least a potential for a move for Rodrigo here. 3 minutes and 55 seconds left to go. What that leaves us with, at least by my simple maths, is 3 laps left from this point. And Nikita Bedrin will enjoy every single one of them. Probably not enjoying every single one is Martin Molnar, because Lucas Flusha is closing in. That gap to 1 second. Will there be a last lap lunge coming in from Lucas Flusha as we approach the final moments of this race? Obviously Bedrin's well in control. I'm sure he's probably not thinking about tyres, but I'm sure the team will probably be like, telling him to look after his tyres, to play the long game. Obviously you only get 2 sets over a whole weekend here in GB3, and that accounts for qualifying for both race 1 and race 2, which obviously we have 2 qualifying sessions for it, which happened yesterday. Then of course race 1, race 2 and race 3, all of which are 25 minutes here in the 2026 season of the GB3 Championship, and those 2 sets of tyres have to do all of it. They are worked hard here, the Pirellis. And so making sure that your tyres are in an operating window, not just for this race, but potentially if you need to use them in the all-important reverse grid race, which may be less important for Nikita Bedrin if he's going to be outscoring Maxim Rem this much. Obviously, with the retirement of the German, no points to his name, and 35 ready to go the way of Bedrin at the front of the field. Close battles behind, so again, Aurelien Abels still has been able to keep Rodrigo Gonzalez at bay for 8th and 9th position. Flynn Jacks is closing in ever so slightly, but you get the feeling he might well run out of time with 2 laps left to go to not only close in, but to do something about, especially having to defend from Yu Hao Fu, who sits arrears. Ricardo Baptista, having dropped down to 12th position, might be a bit disappointed for the XL driver, because he was looking strong. And of course, Jacob Mikulev, who has gained only the single position after rejoining the train at the back of the field after damaging his front wing on the opening lap, has not been able to get past Lewis Gilbert, who sits in 13th, but has been able to get past Leon Wilson. Penultimate lap of the race, 2.5 seconds. The gap is being closed in ever so slightly. If this race was twice the length that it is, maybe Molnar would have an option, but you get the feeling it is just control here from Bedrin, a driver of his experience and understanding here in open wheel racing, of course, a Formula 3 race winner. I think it was even around here, wasn't it? Is sitting at the front of the field. Had to work to retake over the race lead from Deegan Fairclough, and then his unfortunate retirement has left him in this position where he's got 2.5 seconds back. He just got the restart of the race done perfectly. And Martin Molnar got stuck, I think, a little bit behind his teammate Max Rem when Rem's retirement came around. The final lap sits ahead of Nikita Bedrin, who will enjoy the 3.4 kilometre run around this Hungaroring circuit for every single one of its 14 turns, because it is an excellent drive, as it was, of course, from Deegan Fairclough. But when Deegan Fairclough won yesterday, that was one from second position. One thing we've had so far this season is most of the qualified races have been won from pole position. Nikita Bedrin's won 3 of them, Harry Pulling's won 1. It does seem as though we're going to get 5 from 6, at least when it comes to that stat. I suspect that stat will be challenged when we go racing in a week's time at the Red Bull Ring, where overtaking compared to this is an absolute dream, almost easy for them to deal with around there. Obviously, easier said than done. Overtaking wasn't particularly easy. We were back in Monza at the Temple of Speed at the end of last season. Into the middle sector and enjoying it, soaking it up. Half a second, Molnar was able to close in on the previous lap, and you can see the distinctive black and blue in the background of Martin Molnar looming large in the background, ready for any mistake. And the circuit does bite if you're not paying any attention, especially around this part of the circuit. But for Nikita Bedrin, he's got such experience and such understanding and such flow with this 2026 car. It's certainly not a problem for him. 3 corners left to go. The championship leader will be opening up even more of a margin. It was, coming into this race, it was still quite a comfortable 32 points. It will be growing even larger. Martin Molnar won't even be able to take over second in the championship, but still will be looking strong. Nikita Bedrin through the final corner, and for the 4th time this season, will cross the line as a race winner. Martin Molnar in 3rd. Lucas Fluscher onto the podium, we believe, for his first qualified race. Incredible stuff. Abby Pulling in 4th position. Before we roll back to this fight here, a little bit further down and outside the top 5 as QO Lee's crossed the line. It's Flynn Jacks just trying to hang on to the top 10, just about able to do so across the line. Aurelien Abels as well. Great result from Aurelien Abels. That is a first top 10 finish from the Brazilian driver, so she's clearly got to grips with this circuit as Dante Vinci, a teammate, finishes ahead for a second top 10 finish. Yes, they got to grips with the circuit and got to grips with the result after the early incident, but definitely played their cards right in that race, and as did Nikita Bedrin, our race winner. Kind of wonder what more he can do in this championship, because he is flying. What more can anyone else do to try and challenge Nikita Bedrin, who seems to be on a completely different planet when it comes to consistency, when it comes to pace, and even when it comes to luck, which to win a championship at this level You need all three. You cannot do with just one. If you've got the pace but no luck, well, yeah, it doesn't work. If you've got all the luck but no pace, again, that still does not work. You have to have a good mix of both, which Nikita Bedrin is using all of it. The only thing that you would say is that it can go sideways at any moment. Obviously, you've got the reverse grid race coming up a little bit later on today, and if that doesn't quite go your way, then suddenly it can open up the opportunity for some of the other drivers to maybe close down some of that margin, although it's definitely more than a race win. In fact, the championship lead at the moment, at least by my points, is 67 points. That is almost, which isn't too much of a shock considering it's obviously still Max Rem who's second in the championship. That is almost 2 race victories worth of points, which is an incredible margin to have, even at this point of the season. Yes, we've got a third completed. Yes, we've got a very long way to go. But to have those stepping stones at this part of the season, to have that gap built, to have the hard work done early on in the season, it's very important. And for Alex Ninovic, had to do it a little bit after the first round. Struggled a little bit more in the first round last season. But then once everything started to click, once the international races started happening and he started taking very consistent victories, the man was pretty unbeatable. As it seems, Nikita Bedrin might well be as well. Climbing out of the car, and for the 4th time this season, a victor. For the 6th time this season, onto the podium. Martin Molnar will be very popular, as you can probably hear. A superb drive to second position. It'll be his 4th podium there for Martin Molnar. Did have a good job yesterday to finish in 4th, but I think we're obviously disappointed not to grab a podium on home soil. We caught up with him before the weekend, and he did say that his goal this weekend, despite his lack of experience around the circuit, would still be to grab himself at least one podium, and he certainly has. And very, very good. Did see Rowan Campbell-Pillinger, of course, retired from the race in the opening corner, running over there probably to give congratulations and celebrations to Lucas Fluscher, who was onto the podium for the 2nd time this season after finding his way onto the rostrum back in Silverstone in race 3. We will send the drivers over to the scales. They all need to be weighed before they're able to return their way back to celebrate for the team. It's the most important bit, to make sure that everything is above board. There is Martin Molnar on the right-hand side. There is Lucas Fluscher on the scales, leaving his helmet on. I'm just thinking I'm going to get myself weighed before I start to cool down. Although it's not the hottest day that we've raced at in the GB3 Championship, so it's probably relatively comfortable out there. Martin Molnar will head back to the Rodin team to give us celebrations. Of course, we will catch up with the top 3 in a few moments' time. I'm sure there's already been the celebratory congratulations between Molnar and Fluscher, so no one get too worried about how they've not really spoken to each other as they go and chat to their respective teams. For Nikita Bedrin, though, it is another unbelievable performance. 67 points is his championship lead. Looks almost unassailable, and where Rodin have had such a strong run at the top of the championship, having won the last 3 drivers' titles, Nikita Bedrin is the one in control, and he won another race, and now he's catching up with Richard Randall.
Here we are down at a very busy Parc Ferme with our race winner Nikita Bedrin. Nikita, congratulations on an unusual race there, but you're in the right place at the right time to secure your 4th win of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really tricky start. I think me and Deegan both had a really good start. We went side by side into T1, and I managed to get moved on into T2. Very early safety car surprised me a bit. It was really quick. But yeah, I think I managed both restarts good, and then I just controlled the pace from the front.
Yeah, you had to manage 2 safety car restarts, plus it started raining at some point as well. How difficult was it to manage that race?
To be honest, it was not super slippery. Like, we lost a bit of grip, but it was nothing, out of this world. So when we started pushing on the restart again, the grip was more or less fine. So it was quite easy.
So it looks like you'll be starting from P12 for race 3 this evening. What can you do from there? You've already shown you can overtake, but how much progress can you make from 12th around here?
I don't think it will be super easy. The track is quite difficult to overtake, mainly because the following is a bit tricky here. and I think the front runners will save up their fresh tires for the last race. So hopefully we can make some progress up, but I'm not expecting to finish on the podium or nothing like that.
Well, congratulations, a great weekend for you so far. Let's see how you get on this evening.
Thank you.
And now over to Martin Molnar, the man very much in demand here at Hungaroring at his home circuit. Martin, congratulations, 4th podium of the year, but more importantly, to do this in front of your home crowd must feel amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much. It does feel amazing. I'm really happy that I could score a podium here. I missed out on it yesterday, even though we had a very good first half of the race. So I was a little disappointed after that, but yeah, I woke up a bit stronger today, and I said I will get the podium today. So yeah, I'm really happy with the podium, and yeah, looking forward for the last race.
You really had to battle for that one as well, didn't you? There's plenty going on around you. How easy was it to keep a cool head there?
Yeah, it was definitely not easy. There was a lot going on, and yeah, I mean, I was at the right place in sometimes, but yeah, overall, I still had to fight for it quite hard, and yeah, I'm really happy with the result. It's incredible to race in front of my home crowd, and yeah, they are giving incredible support.
That was going to be my next question, just how much are you enjoying racing in front of the home crowd? You've got fans in the grandstand cheering for you, you've got people all around you all weekend, that must feel amazing.
Yeah, it does feel amazing. It's really my first time racing here, and yeah, it's definitely going to be a moment that I will remember for a very, very long time. So yeah, I'm incredibly happy that I scored a podium here, and yeah, looking forward to the last race.
Well, congratulations, a great way to do it. Let's see how you go in race 3, sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done to Martin. And finally we come to Lucas Fluxer. Lucas, another podium for you in GB3. Just how was that race for you?
Yeah, it was very good. We got a really good jump on the start. Got a bit stuck in the middle there, but still, yeah, we got a good start. Car was really good. Yeah, and just quite happy.
Looked a bit dramatic at the start there. Did I see a bit of wheel banging on the way down to turn 1?
Yeah, I was doing a wheelie at some point, but you know, just kept it flat, and yeah, all good.
It's another podium though, isn't it? It's been a really strong year for you in your second year at GB3. Just how much are you enjoying the progress you're making with the XL Motorsport team?
Very good. Yeah, the team is working really hard. They've given me the car to do well in every round we've been to. So yeah, it's all a good teamwork. Yeah, the engineers, everyone, all the mechanics, they have been helping us quite a lot and pushing us forward. And yeah, finally got another podium. Yeah, just giving them what they deserve. Obviously, all the hard work they put in and we put in, just good combination.
And it looks like I think you're going to be starting about P7 in race 3. You started P6 and got onto the podium in this one. What are the chances of doing it again?
I'll definitely go for it. Hopefully we get the same start we just got and just keep building on from that, and let's see what we can do. Race pace looks quite good. So yeah, obviously I'll be analysing all the race now until race 3, and yeah, let's see what we can do.
Well, congratulations, Lucas. Yeah, get on to race 3.
Thank you very much.
And with that, we'll hand back to Lewis McGlade for the podium.
Highlights from round 8 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, and it was an excellent start from Deegan Fairclough to steal away the race lead from Nikita Bedrin on the run to the opening corner. He had the inside look, as he had yesterday. Could he complete the move? Bedrin to the outside, bit of a lock-up from them. But of course, the drama was behind. An instant with a bit of a squeeze, unfortunately there for the hill speed of Peter Bowers-Ellis, ripping off the front wing of Rowan Campbell-Pilling, and also getting involved with the likes of Jacob Mikulev. There was an unfortunate retirement in all that as well from Deegan Fairclough. Once we got back racing, there was a big move to the inside for Max Rem, who was finding his way up the order and was looking brilliant in all his racing as he was finding his way through on his teammate. But unfortunately, he was slowing down, a bit of an issue for him, and he would retire from the race himself, leaving Nikita Bedrin, the championship leader, to roll away at the front of the field and pull out an unbelievable margin to take his 4th victory of the season. So Nikita Bedrin on top once again. Absolutely fantastic for the VRD racing driver, who seems to get stronger and stronger and stronger. 2 seconds clear of Martin Molnar, who was closing the gap in late on in the race. And Lucas Flusher on the podium. A good drive from Avi Pulling to 4th after her retirement from yesterday. Kyu-Ho Lee in 5th. Dante Vinci getting 6th position for the Hillspeed team. Of course, for Hillspeed, the unfortunate result of Peter Bowers-Ellis retiring at the opening corner. Still, Dante Vinci and Aureliana Bells in 6th and 8th position. Great results for the team. Great result for Aureliana Bells, her first top 10 in the championship. Patricio Gonzalez either side, with Rodrigo Gonzalez behind. Flynn Jacks at the back end of the top 10. Yuho Fu in 11th position, with Ricardo Baptista, Lewis Gilbert and Jacob Mikulev, who was able to get himself back into contention after losing his front wing in the opening corner. Ian Wilson as well. 4 retirements from the race: Max Rem, Deegan Fairclough, Peter Bowers-Ellis and Rowan Campbell-Pilling. What does that do for the Drivers' Championship? Well, It extends Nikita's Bedrin margin to 67 points. Absolutely incredible from Bedrin, who is piecing together a perfect championship so far. Max Rem in second position with Martin Molnar in third. A bit of a gap back to Lucas Fluscher as well, who's also grabbed himself a podium, with Jin Nakamura still hanging on to the top 5 after being absent this weekend. Abby pulling in 4th position this race, managed to get 6th position in the championship with Patricio Gonzalez, Deegan Fairclough, Puho Lee and Rowan Campbell pilling at the back end of the top 10. Obviously the disappointment there for Deegan Fairclough, but it's kind of one of those things. It is what it is. You got to take the rough with the smooth, and it was smooth yesterday, just a little bit rough today. We'll see the drivers take their way onto the podium and the celebrations that will go with. Of course, for Lucas Fluscher, it'll be a return to the podium for the second time this season. A brilliant drive from the Spanish driver. And the results this season: 12th, 4th, 3rd, 5th, 8th, 5th, and another 3rd place. That is some solid consistency from Lucas Fluscher, the Spanish driver. He's getting more and more consistent as the season goes on, and surely a second victory for him and his career is on its way. There's Fluscher on. Martin Molnar will be the next one to come on, the Hungarian. And you can hear the celebrations from the Hungarian crowd. Top step of the podium is the VRD Racing driver of Nikita Bedrin. A superb drive and a superb victory. And of course, the Italian national anthem for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the guys at Team Contest.
Congratulations indeed to Nikita Bedrin, a winner for the 4th time this season, onto the podium for the 6th time. And of course, we'll take the Omologato One to Watch award, the driver who scores the most points in the opening 2 races of a given weekend. He will most certainly be the one taking that after a 2nd and a 1st. Big celebrations, of course, for Martin Molnar, who's had to work very hard. Yes, there is some biases out there in the fans, and we kind of love it. Obviously, Martin Molnar, a very popular driver here on home soil. They'll all stand on that top step, and we'll see if they get to spray some of the bubbles around. They certainly were able to do so yesterday. They won't want to get their race suits too wet, but everyone else around, you are definitely in the firing line. Obviously, they get themselves ready. Martin Molnar on the left there will be probably aiming for a few targets out there. Nikita Bedrin, he's probably got one on his back. There we go. Pop the cork, and the bubbles go everywhere. A very popular podium, I'm sure. Martin Molnar, 2nd position. Nikita Bedrin in 1st. Lucas Fluscher onto his 1st qualified podium. They've really pieced the weekend together well so far. The weekend is certainly not done, though. We've still got the reverse grid race to deal with. Drivers have got to keep themselves sorted mentally for it, I'm sure, because, of course, it's a very different prospect when we go racing later on this afternoon. The reverse grid race is a very, very different style of racing. As you can see here, we'll be racing at 20 rather to 6 here in Hungary. The broadcast will go live a little bit earlier than that in the UK, and it'll be round 12 of the Hungaroring. Look, it's going to be a really nice round, a really nice race, I'm sure. It's going to be a really exciting one, and I'll be there to join you all the way through it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a few hours' time for the reverse grid race here in Hungary. Until then, bye-bye.